In the 1990s, the Buffalo Bills did the impossible, going to 4 consecutive Super Bowls. They also did the impossible by losing all 4 of them.
Come a good corner. Kelly back to throw again, going deep. It's going to be picked off. Darrell Green makes the interception. Tell you, this Redskin defense is just throwing guys around.
Still free. That's Norton. Who else? Give him a touchdown. He deserves it. Ken Norton.
This is the story of heartbreak and resilience. Of a team that refused to quit, even when history said it should.
Continues to throw underneath. Thomas hit as he takes the handoff, fumbles the ball, and here comes the Cowboys. It's Thomas Everett with one man to beat Tina, and now he's on his way. Don Beebe, the Lone Mills, touchdown, Dallas.
This is the story of the greatest dynasty that never was.
Buffalo, there are no words.
There's no higher feeling in sports than winning the Super Bowl. There's no lower feeling than losing the Super Bowl.
The Buffalo Bills began in 1960 as part of the new American Football League. And in 1964 and 65, they won the AFL Championship.
Jack Kemp fading to pass. Looks the field over, throws in the goal. Underneath the goal post for a touchdown.
But in 1966, the Super Bowl was created, a championship game between the AFL and NFL, later the AFC and NFC. And for its first 24 games, it went on without them.
The unanimous Super Bowl MVP for the 3rd time.
Heading into the 1990 season, it had been 6 years since the AFC had last won the Super Bowl.
San Francisco has won Super Bowl 23.
For the Washington Redskins and Doug Williams in particular.
Yeah, it's okay, Bill, it's okay. You got it.
That's most of those. Walter Payton, Mike Ditka, Hungry Chicago.
Super Bowl 19 is in the record book.
And the Lombardi Trophy will go to the Los Angeles Raiders. A very young team, but a super team.
But in the weaker conference, the Bills were growing stronger, even making it to the AFC Championship game in 1988.
Today from Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, Ohio, it's the AFC Championship. The Buffalo Bills against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Their defense was stacked, with players like Bruce Smith, Darryl Talley, Shane Conlon, and Cornelius Bennett, giving the Bills one of the best defenses of the last few years. On offense, wide receivers James Lofton and Andre Reed were matched with Thurman Thomas in the backfield, with a solid O-line. Then there was the quarterback.
Buffalo selects quarterback Jim Kelly, Miami of Florida.
But Kelly was also selected by the competing USFL. But after winning the league MVP, the USFL folded, and he joined the team in 1986. In 1990, the Bills unleashed a new style of offense centered around their tight end, Keith McKellar, the K-Gun offense, a hurry-up, no-huddle style of play.
This time caught by the tight end, Keith McKellar. That's a gain of 4 to the 30-yard line, and they will go without a huddle again.
And this is throwing off the timing of the Eagles' defense. They like to move people around a lot.
And the Bills are getting that ball in play a lot quicker than people expected. They're right up there ready to go. The Raiders can't call anything other than a very basic defense.
This style of play had existed before, usually in 2-minute drills, or most notably in the Bengals' attack offense of the 80s, as one of their many tricks.
Sam White said he's not going to change anything. He is going to come right back. He's going to use his attack offense. There's the hurry-up offense, and there are the subs coming off, and they made it to the sideline.
And when they went off, then Cincinnati for a moment hesitated.
And then they sent in the 4 wide receivers.
And when the Bengals used it against the Bills in the '88 championship game, Coach Marv Levy decided to take that concept and implement it as a consistent use throughout an entire game. And it elevated a good offense into a juggernaut. They finished the 1990 season with the highest points scored in the league.
Pass is caught. Downfield block from Mueller. No flags, touchdown.
And they coupled that with the 6th best scoring defense. But in week 15, Jim Kelly got injured.
Today, it's the Buffalo Bills versus the New York Giants.
That wasn't as wide open as it first appeared. That would have been a tough play.
He had to contend with Davis and then Taylor.
And Jim Kelly's been hurt as he delivered that last pass. I believe he was hit by his own man.
And they have Miami next Sunday. As much as this is a game of importance for respect and to show the rest of the league that Buffalo belongs with the elite, the big game is at Rich Stadium next Sunday with Miami. They need to beat Miami to assure themselves the AFC Eastern Championship.
But the team rallied behind backup Frank Reich and finished off the Giants.
A 17-13 win. Buffalo stays atop the AFC East.
And in week 16 against the Dolphins, behind Reich's 234 yards and 2 touchdowns, they not only secured the division, but the #1 seed in the playoffs. Their matchup in the 1990 divisional round was against the Miami Dolphins. Jim Kelly returned from injury, and Buffalo shot out to an early 20-3 lead.
And as you saw, the Bills have frequently been able to get off to the quick start. Andre Reed. A 40-yard pass play. Andre Reed.
But as the snow picked up, Dan Marino roared back.
And completes to Duper, who gets away. Touchdown, Miami.
But the Dolphins' defense could not stop the K-Gun offense.
The Buffalo Bills 44 and the Miami Dolphins 34.
Sending the Bills to the 1990 AFC Championship game against the Los Angeles Raiders. This game was never close. The Raiders stayed in one defense the entire game, and the Bills picked it apart.
The Raiders have stayed in the same automatic defense every play with 2 deep safeties, short people all across the front. And the problem is that the Bill receivers crossing have left that Raider team without an ability to stay with those people. So just what the Bills wanted, the Raiders gave them.
Buffalo represents the AFC in Super Bowl 25.
The Bills had advanced to their first ever Super Bowl against the New York Giants. The Giants finished second in the NFC only behind the league favorite San Francisco 49ers, who were going for a three-peat. While the Bills had the 6th best scoring defense, the Giants had the best. And in the very same game that Jim Kelly got injured, so did Giants quarterback Phil Simms.
Short of the first down, but Meggett with that little circle reverse. Odoms and Smith make the stop, and now it's Simms that's down. Oh my. Well, this is becoming a tragic Saturday here at the Meadowlands for quarterbacks.
But unlike Kelly, Simms was out for the season.
So Jeff Hostetler from West Virginia, the backup to Simms, comes in.
But with their stout defense, they still managed to get through the NFC.
And now the Buffalo Bills beat the New York Giants in Super Bowl 25.
So the kickoff is finally at hand as the Buffalo Bills and the New York Giants get ready to have at it. The NFC, as many of you I'm sure know, has won the last 6 Super Bowls. The last time the AFC was victorious was here following the 1983 season when the Raiders beat Washington. And in this, the 25th Super Bowl, as you see Parcells and Levy getting set, the NFC has won 12 and the AFC has won 12. So we'll break the tie tonight. Back to receive along with Al Edwards, and Super Bowl 25 is underway in Tampa. Barr's kick taken up at the 13-yard line. It's Don Smith, who used to play for the Buccaneers, tackled by Barr. Here come the Bills. They go without a huddle.
After the Giants forced a 3-and-out on the Bills' opening possession, New York's offense moved inside 15, getting an early field goal. Then on the Bills' next drive,
The Giants right now have 6 DBs in, and on 2nd and 8 going deep, it's tipped and it's caught by Lofton, who is taken out of bounds at the 8-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal.
Harry Williams was actually in relatively good position, but the ball was so well thrown by Kelly that he had to leave his feet to get a piece of it.
Lofton's catch put them inside the 10, but they could only match the Giants' field goal. The Bills' defense would force a punt, and on the Bills' next series, they drove down the field and scored a touchdown. Now leading the Giants 10-3. After trading punts, the Giants were backed up inside their own 10-yard line.
From the 6-yard line. Hostetler under heat, sacked for the safety. Bruce Smith.
Up 12-3, the Bills were in total control. But by the end of the first half, their offense cools down. And Hostetler drives the Giants inside the 15 with 30 seconds left, finding Stephen Baker in the end zone.
Hostetler throws, touchdown! Stephen Baker.
And he beats the main man, Nate Odoms. And that was a perfect throw.
After controlling a majority of the first half, they were only up by 2. Then, out of the half, the Giants would orchestrate the longest drive in Super Bowl history.
First and goal at the 3, 13th play of the drive coming up. The Bills have not had the ball in the second half. Anderson to the 1. And remember, the Giants closed the first half with an 87-yard drive. There's the time remaining in the third quarter. Buffalo has not had the football. A 9-minute drive.
One of the great drives in Super Bowl history. That was physical domination.
The Bills would get penalized and sacked in their next drive, but their defense held firm, stopping them on 4th down. Then came Thurman Thomas.
By Thomas. Gives to Thomas. And Thurman breaking tackles at the 22, inside the 10, touchdown Buffalo.
They retook the lead, but the Giants would get another long drive, shaving off another 6 minutes in the 4th, getting a field goal to retake the lead. The Bills got the ball back with 8 minutes left, but were forced to punt it away, hoping their defense could give them one last shot. And they did, but not before New York was able to shave off another 3 minutes of the clock. The Bills had one final shot, with 2 minutes and 16 seconds left in the game.
A fair catch is called for by Edwards at the 10. So now it's pretty simple for Buffalo. They're at the 10. You've got to move it into Scott Norwood's field goal range. He doesn't have a lot of range, and especially not on grass, but that's down the line right now. First things first for Buffalo, 2:16 left, one timeout left, one free one at the 2-minute warning.
Well, at least
Kelly with a 4 wideouts. He also sends Thomas into the pattern, steps up to avoid the sack, takes it out to the...
Not coming into play.
2nd down and 2 from the 18. Kelly, the pump fake, steps up and gets tackled by Howard, very close to a first. He Bills have not converted a 3rd down in the game. Until now, thanks to Thomas. Thurman Thomas out to the 40, a 1st down, tackled by Everson Walls.
Tonight.
1st and 10 at the 40, 21-yard pickup, 1:22 to go, one timeout left for Buffalo. And over the middle, he hits Andre Reed, who was 3 wide receivers.
No pass rush at all. That's unbelievable.
All day and half of the night, and he's going to run with it, and he picks up the 1st down, takes it to the 46, tackled by Banks, 48 seconds.
They're a good 20 yards away from where they need to be.
From the gun, 1st down at the 46-yard line. It's a 3-man New York rush. Kelly throws, it's low, but it's caught by McKellar. 2nd down and 5. Here's Thurman Thomas swinging to the outside, has the 1st down. Thurman Thomas takes it to the 30. Well, they are in Norwood field goal range. Collins makes the stop. The Bills are going to have to ground the ball to stop the clock at the 29-yard line. Kelly throws it into the ground, 8 seconds.
It'd be 47 yards from right here.
And they have to send him in here. They can't take a chance and run another play.
Norwood is right on the tip of his range.
Although Scott Norwood had a pretty successful career, this season he ranked near the bottom half of the league. And at this distance, he was kicking at about 60%.
8 seconds left. Adam Lingner will snap it. No good. Wide right.
There are photographers and people all over the field, but the clock still has 4 seconds on it. And Steve Diassi There's still 4 seconds on the clock.
Players are all over the field congratulating each other. It'll take a while to get this shaped up.
All the Giants have to do is a kneel down, and it's all over. It's a premature celebration, but it will be a celebration nonetheless.
Tough when you sit on the sideline and you're waiting for that moment. You're down there, Kelly's driving the ball. Your thoughts as they were moving the ball?
Well, I was excited about the opportunity. You know, saying to myself, Jim, get it down there. You know, I want to kick this one for the team. It's just a situation where you get one opportunity. It obviously didn't work out.
Did you know at that time it would have to be the longest field goal for you on grass?
Well, I knew it was a long kick, and I may have emphasized a bit too much trying to get a lot of leg into it, and it may have taken away a little bit from the follow-through and getting the ball to come in from the upright on that particular kick. Again, you know, you don't get a second opportunity. If I had a second opportunity, I might do something a little bit different on that.
Okay.
You know, again, I missed an opportunity for this football team. I feel badly, let a lot of people down, but, you know, as you said, you realize in this profession you got to come back off of times like this, and I'm certain that I'll do that.
We knew we had to get the ball to the 30-yard line because we all had the confidence that, you know, Scotty could put it through. He's won so many games for us, and he's definitely not to blame. We had so many opportunities in the first half that we didn't have, and the time possession definitely well slanted their side, but we knew as an offensive team when we had the football we were going to have to score because we knew what type of offense they had.
Although the Bills and Giants stats were similar, two notable discrepancies existed: third down conversion rate and time of possession.
Getting first downs, we're getting them on first and second, and that certainly would have to be a factor. We didn't click on them, and that certainly can be a factor in the game. Possession time, pretty tough to beat a team that has a very good running game and a very good defense. We came close, not close enough.
Well, what it was, just a ball control offense, you know. They came up with the play action pass, and they were able to hit us on that, and a lot of times on the boot. You know, the boot killed us, I think, today, and a lot of times I think that was my responsibility.
The Bills may have came up just short, but Buffalo still welcomed them home like champions, which was especially sweet for Scott Norwood. Then they turned their focus to 1991. And other than rotating Ray Bentley for Carlton Bailey, they returned next season with an intact roster. And in 1991, the Bills cruised to another 13-3 record, behind an MVP season for Thurman Thomas.
Here's Thurman Thomas picking up the first down. He's over 1,000 yards rushing this season. He's the first in the league.
Thurman Thomas to the 5. He scores!
Their defense, however, fell to the bottom half of the league. Part of it had to do with Bruce Smith missing 13 games with a knee injury, but they still stood atop the AFC. Their first matchup in the 1991 playoffs would be against the Kansas City Chiefs. They had previously met in Week 6 in Arrowhead, where the Chiefs destroyed the Bills. It was the first time in 3 years the Bills failed to score a single touchdown.
I can't overestimate the way the Chiefs are dominating the line of scrimmage.
But this time, it would be different.
It's all about the Super Bowl and a sellout of 80,000 and their collective voices here to help Buffalo avenge that mid-season beating the Bills took in Kansas City.
They shot out to a 24-0 lead and never looked back.
Back could very well be a run. And it's fast. He had to pick up on a blitz.
And open is Reed again. Andre Reed, touchdown.
Moving them once again into the AFC Championship game, this time against the Denver Broncos. What many believed was going to be a shootout between John Elway and the high-powered Bills offense turned into a defensive slugfest. The Broncos had a little more success on offense, but they missed on all 3 of their field goal attempts, making the game scoreless heading into halftime.
And it is no good. It hit the upright. Good snap from center. The placement is down. Here comes the kick towards the right goal post. It hit it again. Oh my, that's twice today.
In the third quarter, John Elway injured his leg.
No flag.
Elway's limping.
Not a good sign as Elway flexing that knee.
He would stay in the game, but 2 drives later,
Screen pass, batted down, intercepted by Carlton Bailey. He runs in for the touchdown.
Watch these defensive linemen, especially that one, recognize the screen coming up. Elway wants to throw the middle screen. I watched Jeff Wright. He says, wait a minute here. Wait a minute. He's the guy that backs the ball, and then Bailey's in the position to intercept it.
then up 7 with 4 minutes left in the game. The Bills needed Scott Norwood to put them up by 2 possessions.
That would give what would seem almost an insurmountable 10-0 lead. It is good.
And that will do it. Buffalo Bills return to the Super Bowl.
Their opponent, coming out of the NFC, the Washington Redskins. Washington finished first in the NFC, and they also beat out Buffalo for the highest scoring offense that year. Along with the second best scoring defense, which created the 4th best point differential in NFL history at that time. This was a super team.
B-U-F-F-A-L-O. Put it all together and you got a Buffalo. Let's go 4 quarters. 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters. We're gonna pump it up, baby. We're gonna make history today. This is for real. You got no game. Show them something never seen. That's all I got.
Ricky Irvins and Brian Mitchell will be back to accept the Buffalo kickoff.
Yeah, the other reason you like to kick off is you like to get your wild guys in there. And the wildest guys on any football team are the kickoff coverage guys.
Led by Steve Tasker, who has been legendary for his work on the special teams for Buffalo. Out of the end zone, Irvins will handle it out of the end zone. If that's any sort of a judgment element, the Bills are off to a good start.
After a quick 3-and-out by Washington, when the Bills began their first drive, they did so with a notable absence.
Started for the Bills. Straight ahead is Tim Davis, not Thurman Thomas. And Davis only got a yard.
Yeah, that was interesting. In the first play, it looked like Thomas was going out there. Then Kenneth Davis just came in, and they only have one back there. That is not Thurman Thomas, that's Kenneth Davis.
And no huddle for the Bills. Kelly, a long play, but Kelly makes something out of it. Got to about the 46, a gain of 4, stopped by Wilbur Marshall.
I think Thurman Thomas is coming into the game now. I think Kenneth Davis went to the wrong side. Kelly called the ball to one side. Davis went to the other side, so Kelly had to go to the side that he called it to anyway.
Gonna make it 3rd and 5. And now Thomas is the lone setback. Kelly out of the pocket and down by Jumpy Gathers. He was the first one to arrive. Tim Johnson with the assist, a loss of 10.
It came out later that Thomas lost his helmet, finding it 2 plays later under the team's bench. With the ball again, Washington would make 2 huge throws, setting them up inside the 5.
On defense, Warren was the man in motion, and they come with a blitz. Rippin to Monk, complete first down Redskins. Orr was the man in motion, and Rippin again gets it to Monk, and Monk breaks the tackle. Monk to the end zone, out of bounds inside the 5.
But the Bills' defense held firm, with a small help from a toe.
Yeah, his right foot was out,
forcing a field goal attempt.
For the field goal from 19 yards away. And a fumble, Rutledge does, and Buffalo comes away. Cornelius Bennett. And the Redskins, after a very impressive drive, get no points.
But on the very next play,
Kelly back to throw it. Up the middle, incomplete, and picked off. Brad Edwards gives the Redskins the ball back.
Then 3 plays later,
Ripping back to throw it. Ball batted up in the air, and the Bills come up with it. Jackson makes the interception.
After those turnovers, the Bills stalled near the 50. Then Washington broke a big run and a bigger pass to put them back inside the red zone.
And keeping up tempo themselves.
Rippin goes in a hurry. Has a lot of time for Sanders. Inside the 20s.
But again, the Bills' defense denied them the end zone. Their offense, however, struggled to gain any momentum. And on Washington's next drive, they once again moved the ball into the red zone, and this time they got a touchdown.
Around in this first half.
2nd and 9 at the 10. Rippin outside the Biner. Touchdown Redskins.
Now trailing 10-0, Kelly pressed the ball down the field.
He has become a good corner.
Kelly back to throw again, going deep. It's going to be picked off. Darrell Green makes the interception.
Redskins have them on the run now. They got their offense going. They got their defense going. They got their coverage
going. And now with the ball again, Washington went for a strike.
Again, the Bills blitz. It's Gary Clark. And he's on the right track. Clark to about the 15.
Leading to another touchdown. Buffalo's defense just could not get off the field, and their offense couldn't stay on. They were just being straight up bullied.
I'll tell you, this Redskin defense is just throwing guys around. You know, the Denver Broncos did the same thing downfield. Anytime there was a ball in the air, they really whacked them and cracked them. They have just taken over this game.
But finally, they forced a 3-and-out. Unfortunately, they couldn't do anything with it, but they were able to pin Washington within their 5-yard line. And that gave them excellent field position for their final drive of the half, hoping to put some points on the board.
Kelly Goodburn did some catch checking. Got it out, not very deep, but he got it out. Hicks trying to get out of bounds. The Redskins are down in a hurry and good shape. The Reds. First and 10, Buffalo. At the Washington 41. Again, they blitz Kelly. He just does get rid of the ball, but does. To McKellar. And a first down, Buffalo, 21-yard gain. Back to throw. Got a man. Incomplete. It was Beebe. Incomplete. On second down. Kelly swarmed on by the Redskins. The ball loose at the bottom of the pile, but they got it back. To McKellar. Third down. They show blitz again, and then they backed out of it. Again, Kelly is hit. No flags. Pass incomplete. Andre Reed, the intended receiver, Brad Edwards. And
Andre Reed better watch it. He did get the flag. You can't do that. I know it's a big game. I know it's an emotional game, but you have to keep things under control. I'm one to talk about that. Oh, he did get it. He has a legitimate gripe. Brad Edwards, a free safety for the Redskins, hit Andre Reed before the ball was there. And I'll tell you one thing, by him throwing his helmet, that's going to knock him out of field goal range.
Oh, pretty close to it.
Unsportsmanlike conduct foul on number 83, offense, slamming his headgear to the ground. 15-yard penalty, it'll be fourth down.
With the penalty knocking them out of field goal range, they ended the first half of Super Bowl 26 scoreless. The league MVP in that first half only had 6 rushing attempts for a total of 3 yards. The Bills would get the ball out of halftime, but on the very first play,
Beebe is split out wide to the right. Thurman Thomas behind Kelly. This time they take a little more time. They're all over Kelly. The pass is intercepted by Kurt Gouveia. Gouveia out of bounds at about the 2, and the Redskins are in business again. Goal Redskins at the 2 is Riggs. And he gets the carry, and he has a stand-up Washington touchdown. That's his second.
In 2 plays, they were down 24-0. On their next drive, they would get the ball inside the 5-yard line, but failed to find the end zone. And even though it was just 4th and 2 from the 3, down by 24, they settled for a field goal. Two drives later, the Bills finally got a pass interference call to go their way, putting them at the 1-yard line, leading to a Thurman Thomas touchdown. Washington, however, would answer right back.
And he's the lone running back. Griffin is back to throw it. Going deep. Touchdown, Redskins. Clark. From 30 yards away, it's Rippon.
And 3 plays later,
Second and 18. The Bills operating from their own 22 with less than a minute left, third quarter. Here comes the blitz again. Kelly. His arm was moving forward, but they say it was.
In 3 weeks, the Buffalo Bills have not solved the blitz.
Washington added 3 more points off the turnover, and then 2 plays later, Kelly got picked off again.
Kelly back to throw it, going deep. That has every chance of being intercepted, and is by the Redskins. That's Brad Edwards with the football. Edwards is down at about the Buffalo 34. That's the 5th turnover by the Bills.
After tacking on another field goal, the Bills finally put together 2 scoring drives, but by then it was too late. Super Bowl 26 ended, Washington 37, Buffalo 24.
This has to be frustrating for, the Buffalo Bills. You look all year to get back, to get revenge, and then something like this happens to you.
The Redskins are the world champions.
Victory for the Redskins in a decade under your leadership, and that's an achievement that's getting close to the top of the list. So we congratulate the Redskins on an outstanding season and a great Super Bowl 26.
We'll go back to work. We'll go back to work, and there are additions or corrections that we can make to get better. And we can talk forever. You've heard me sometimes talk about Winston Churchill. I remember him once saying that defeat, no matter how excused or discounted or explained, is still odious, and it is.
In 1992, they lost their offensive coordinator to the Colts and had a few notable departures, but for the most part, their team stayed relatively intact heading into next season. But the narrative around the Bills had shifted from admiration to fatigue.
Lose at the Super Bowl once and you get sympathy and respect. Lose at the Super Bowl twice and people start talking about you like they talk about the teams that go 3-13.
The underdog charm was gone. Outside of Buffalo, getting to 3 straight Super Bowls would be met with groans rather than celebrations. And not only that, history was also not on their side, as no team had ever lost 2 Super Bowls and made it back to a third. And as the 1992 season went, it seemed that still would be the case. Although they had a great start to the year, they faltered in the last few weeks of the season, even getting blown out by the Oilers in Week 17.
Jeffries with a career high, and the Oilers trying to make a statement here. And the Buffalo Bills string of AFC East titles is ended at 4. The Miami Dolphins will win the AFC East. What do you think?
And like most failed runs, injuries were piling up. They dropped to the 4th seed in the AFC in 1992. If they were to make it back to 3 straight Super Bowls, they for the first time would have to start in the wildcard round against the team that just blew them out, the Houston Oilers. With Kelly out, Houston started right where they left off a week ago.
And it is caught. What a catch by Curtis Duncan. So 3. Moon goes deep. Touchdown, Houston. And Warren Moon has thrown for 4 touchdowns in the first half.
And the start of the second half did not go much better.
Right goes far side. This is intercepted. And down the far sideline is Bubba McDowell. And he will score. And Houston now leads 35-3.
But then, on the ensuing kickoff, the ball clips a Bills player at the 50-yard line, allowing a quick recovery at midfield. And with the good field position, they finally got it into the end zone. And with some momentum, the Bills decided to do an onside kick.
Onside kick goes 10 yards. Buffalo scrambles for it. The Bills say they have it. See what the officials say.
which led to
Right to throw. Down the side. All alone. Beebe scores. Right, nice touch. Has another man open. Back pedaling into the end zone is Andre Reed. Moon high, tipped, intercepted. Henry Jones. Still going for it at 4th and 5. Into the end zone. Has a man. Touchdown. Right to throw. End zone. Touchdown. And it is good from 26, 38-38. Buffalo coming from 32 points behind. Moon needs 3 yards, has the time, throws, it is intercepted. Buffalo has the ball. Nate Odoms at the 35-yard line. Flags are down.
At the end of the run, we have a personal foul. Tackling by the face mask. From the end of the run, first down.
Now it's a 15-yard face mask, and Buffalo is going to set up shop at the 20-yard line.
They'll lose that yardage, and then they have one more opportunity. They're going to set it at the 22. An attempt of 32 yards for the win.
Only 50% this season from between 30 and 40, as you saw.
It is right down the middle.
from down 35-3 to winning a miraculous wildcard game. And that win catapulted them past the Pittsburgh Steelers and past the Miami Dolphins with incredible ease, sending them to their third straight Super Bowl, this time against the Dallas Cowboys. In just a few seasons, the Cowboys transformed from a bottom dweller to a contender. With players like Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, and Charles Haley. And by 1992, they weren't just contenders, they were dominant, knocking off the 49ers in the NFC Championship game.
And now Super Bowl 27, the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, architecturally inspired by the Yale Bowl in New Haven, Connecticut 70 years ago. The scene, 102,000 to see if it'll be Buffalo Bills trying to deny that 3 losses in a row, or will the young Dallas Cowboys win another for the NFC? Hello, everyone. I'm Dick Hamburger. Is one of the deep return men for Buffalo. 49-year-old Jimmy Johnson, what he has done in 4 years in Big D, from 1-15 to the Super Bowl. With Brad Lamb is Kenneth Davis deep. Chapter 1 begins. Lamb fighting the sun. It is 3:30 West Coast time, and Buffalo will open at the 20. Jim Kelly, the quarterback. The fast break football offense, the no huddle, the K-gun they call it in Buffalo.
Well, we're going to find out quick what Dallas plans to do with this hurry-up offense. They normally use 18 or 19 guys defensively, 6 or 7 defensively.
After stalling on the Bills' opening possession, their defense forced a quick 3-and-out. And on the ensuing punt, standout special teamer Steve Tasker was able to block it, setting up the Bills at the Dallas 16-yard line, where they scored the game's first touchdown. And after their defense forced another punt, the Bills drove the ball to midfield.
Thomas.
Blitz.
The throw intercepted. James Washington. Washington to the fumbles, but out of bounds to Dallas at the 44-yard line.
Following Kelly's interception, Dallas quickly found the end zone. Then, on the very next play,
Rob Awald working on again, and a fumble caught by Jimmy Jones. A touchdown, Dallas.
the Bills' next drive put them inside the 5, where they tried 4 times to get it into the end zone, and failed on all 4 times.
About a foot from the goal line. So they're looking not for a run necessarily here. And Thomas back in the game. And it is a pass. Intercepted. They won't even get the field goal.
After another Dallas punt, Jim Kelly left the game with a leg injury. But backup Frank Reich at least drove them down to get a field goal. Dallas drove down and got a touchdown. Then on the first play of the Bills' next drive, Thomas loses the ball. And a play later,
Aikman to Irvin again. Touchdown!
And just like that, they were down 28-10. They would throw another interception to end the half. Down by 18 with 5 turnovers. But they had been down by 32 points against Houston in the very same playoffs. There was still plenty of time. After a long field goal drive to start the third, the game devolved into punts. Until Frank Reich chucked it down the field to Beebe from the 40. Putting them down by only 2 possessions. Then the Bills forced a quick Dallas punt, and with 11 minutes left in the fourth, they needed 2 fast touchdown drives.
There is time. The Bills, as you can see from that graphic, a team that can score in a hurry. Thurman Thomas, smothered by Russell Maryland. Frank Reich throwing that one away. And 3rd and 10. Good protection. Reich downfield to Lofton. He was open, but he misses. Lofton was wide open that time. So 3 and out. They didn't spend much time. About a minute. And he'll go behind 2 and A, but it's Aikman with the ball, and he's going deep. Harper wide open, touchdown!
Then Reich would throw another interception. And Dallas would score another touchdown. On the Bills' next drive,
and Ditka likes it. What kind of a guy is this, right?
Reich. Still free. That's Norton. Who else? Give him a touchdown. He deserves it. Ken Norton.
Dallas scored 3 touchdowns in 2 minutes and 13 seconds. On the Bills' very next play, they'd fumble again. But luckily, Dallas would fumble right back. And with that second chance,
celebration and warmth. We'll give you the rest of it after this play. 4th down and 6, and Reich fumbles, picked up by Leon Lett. Can he go all the way? It's a 60-yard run. He's being chased by Beebe. What's out? Did he get across? No, they are not. That's going to be a touchback to Buffalo. Leon Lett would have scored, but he slowed down to celebrate at the 5-yard line, and when he did, Don Beebe, hustling, stripped it away.
the Bills would have one more drive, but that was it. In a comedy of errors, Super Bowl 27 ended, Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
In the entire history of the NFL, they were the only team to make it to at least 3 straight championship game appearances and not have a single championship to show for it. And across all professional sports, they became the 6th team ever to accomplish such a feat. Starting in 1993, free agency began, allowing players whose contracts expired to sign with any team. And it drastically changed how rosters were constructed. The Bills lost tackle Will Wolford, James Lofton, Carlton Bailey, and Shane Conlon in free agency, and lost corner Kirby Jackson to injury. And for the first time since 1988, the Bills' offense fell out of the top 5 in scoring. Their defense, however, was top 5, but allowed the 2nd most yards. This usually points to a defense built off turnovers. The Bills were number 1 in takeaways. But in the AFC, this was still enough to get them 12 wins and the number 1 seed in the playoffs for the 3rd time in 4 years. Their first matchup in the 1993 playoffs would be against the Los Angeles Raiders. The temperature at game time was 0 degrees Fahrenheit, -14 wind chill. Jeff Hostetler and the Raiders jumped out to a 17-6 lead. But with some help from their special teams, the Bills climbed back, winning a close one 29-23. Then met the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. With the newly acquired Joe Montana and Marcus Allen, the Chiefs were the new darlings of the NFL. What America wanted to see was them up against the 49ers for a Super Bowl. Joe Montana against his former team. Instead, what they got was a dominating performance from the Bills.
Thomas, big hole. Touchdown. Persistent and resilient Buffalo have now earned a 4th straight trip to the big party, a rare achievement.
And the Bills are going back to a 4th straight Super Bowl as they defeated the Kansas City Chiefs 30-13.
And their opponent in their 4th straight appearance would once again be the Dallas Cowboys.
here.
No, nobody wanted the Bills here. Everybody was just like, you know, get rid of them.
4 consecutive times in a row they've been here.
That's the way you have to get them out.
Definitely.
You have to get them out by beating them, is that right?
Yes.
The NFC champions, they're going for the knockout. 10 in a row. They're going to try to count 10 times down the AFC. Moments of fact here for only the second time in all of American sports pro team history, all sports, not just football, a team has lost 3 championships and made it to a 4th. Cleveland Browns did it. They won in their 4th try. That's Buffalo's hope.
The two coaches, Marv Levy, the dean of NFL coaches, he is 65.
Philosophical, quotes authors, presidents, prime ministers to get his football team up. A true administrator. On the other side of the field, Jimmy Johnson, emotional. He treats each player differently. He'll guarantee victory. He'll take chances. Even says you're taking a chance.
And we're set to go. Steve Christie. It's interesting that this game and all our friends to the north features 2 kickers from Canada. Christie for the Bills and veteran Eddie Murray for Dallas. Deep to return for the Cowboys. Kevin Williams, 85, and we're underway. Super Bowl 28. A high spinner to the 2. Williams, a rookie from Miami, has a hole on the sidelines at the 40. Christie can't get him and out of bounds at midfield. Kurt Schultz saved the touchdown, and Dallas comes out running. 50 yards on the return. Cowboys start on the Buffalo half of the field, just outside the 47. Fake to Smith. Aikman down the middle, wide open, Michael Irvin.
Before they could blink, Dallas was already inside the 30. But their defense was able to limit the Cowboys to only a field goal. Then on the Bills' opening possession, they also got into field goal range, where Steve Christie drilled a Super Bowl record 57-yard field goal, tying the game. Then, after a Dallas 3-and-out, Thurman Thomas fumbled on the first play of their next possession. But again, the Bills' defense only gave up a field goal. Then the Bills put together an 18-play drive, capped off by a Thurman Thomas touchdown. The Bills had the lead 10-6, their best half of football in 2 Super Bowls. After trading punts, Dallas was moving the ball past the 50, when
before halftime, trailing by 4. Here comes Smith, and he can't get to Aikman, and intercepted. Nate Oates, who tied for the league in the NFL, is on the loose at the 45, the 50, and he's to the 48.
But even with good field position, they could only get 3 points off the interception. And so, even though they were outplaying the Cowboys, at the end of the second quarter, they were only up by a touchdown. Luckily, they did get the ball out at halftime.
Assist on the tackle.
Kelly continues to throw underneath. Thomas hit as he takes the hand off, fumbles the ball, and here comes the Cowboys. It's Thomas Everett with one man to beat Tina, and now he's on his way. Don Beebe, the lone Bills, touchdown, Dallas!
And just like that, their impressive first half was erased.
14 remaining in the third. Dallas and Buffalo even. With Bob Trumpy, Thurman Thomas trying to wipe away and having difficulty assimilating his 2 errors that have cost Buffalo 10 points. He's also scored a Buffalo touchdown. So Troy Aikman, first time he gets the ball, the defense has already given him a score and a tie game. He starts from the Dallas 36, and here comes Emmett, ripping through across the 40.
That one play changed the entire feeling of the game, and Dallas took advantage of it. As they drove the ball inside the 25, the Bills saw both Darryl Talley and Bruce Smith go down. The Cowboys would cap it off with an Emmitt Smith touchdown.
Emmett breaks a tackle. 10, 5, touchdown!
On the Bills' next drive, they appeared to still be reeling from Thomas's fumble, as they couldn't get anything going offensively. But suddenly, neither could Dallas. And only down by a touchdown, they were still very much in it.
Thomas back in the game, 3rd down and 5. Intercepted! James Washington again! And Washington down at the 34-yard line.
The Bills' final drive moved them close to the end zone, but it wasn't meant to be. Super Bowl 28 ended, Dallas 30, Buffalo 13.
Buffalo, there are no words.
Anyone who has ever been an athlete, been part of a team, to be so close, so often, and come away short, that this is a part of history they did not want their name attached to.
30-13 Dallas. The Dallas dynasty is real.
Dallas became the team of the 90s, the dynasty. The Bills were relegated to tragedy.
In all fairness, year after year, Marv Levy adds to his legacy of excellence as the coach of the Buffalo Bills. But each year, the final chapter has been an agonizing one for him. Now the loser of 4 consecutive Super Bowls, and now reaching epic proportions. You might liken them to the mythological figure Sisyphus, who kept trying to push that rock up the hillside, and he got closer and closer to the summit every time, and then it rolled all the way back down to the bottom. And like Sisyphus, they keep pushing it back up there, and you have to give them credit for that. A lot of us thought the window of opportunity was shut after last year, and they came back.
My regard for them, had we won the game, wouldn't be any greater than it is, despite the fact that we had a tremendous disappointment.
In the regular season and playoffs, they dominated their competition. But in their Super Bowls, they were a completely different team. Turnovers absolutely killed them. And now across all American sports, they were the only team ever to lose 4 consecutive championship games. Going into next year, they had quite a bit of turnover. And in 1994, they finished 7-9, missing the playoffs. They would make it to the playoffs 4 out of the next 5 years, but they would not win a single playoff game in that span. Marv Levy retired in 1998. Andre Reed, Bruce Smith, and Thurman Thomas were the last members of all 4 Super Bowl teams, and they stayed until 1999, where the Bills made the playoffs, but lost in the iconic Music City Miracle game.
Taken by Neal. He gives it to Wycheck. Wycheck. That looked like a forward pass. Taken by Dyson. Dyson's down the sideline. Dyson's going to go all the way. And there is no flag.
They would fail to make the playoffs for the next 18 years. Of the other 5 American sports teams with at least 3 straight championship losses, all have won a championship at some point in their history. The Bills are the lone team who haven't. The NFC streak of Super Bowl wins would continue for another 3 years.
49 to 26.
27. Pittsburgh 17.
Until finally, in 1997, the Denver Broncos won.
Super Bowl championship for John Elway and the Denver Broncos.
The Buffalo Bills of the early 90s had one of the best offenses in NFL history. It was a team loaded with Hall of Famers. They were special not because they were perfect, but because they failed and kept getting back up. That's why this story endures. History may remember them as a team that lost 4 straight, but as Bills owner Ralph Wilson said, I would hope their legacy is that they got to 4 in a row, because that is not an easy task.
Well, first of all, I want to say that Marv Levy is an outstanding coach. I think the Buffalo Bill organization is to be congratulated. I think what they have accomplished, and I know that they're going to go down as a loser of 4 Super Bowls. I'd like to know how many games they've won over the last 4 seasons. I think that's the significant thing. To stay in there, to hang in there, to overcome adversity. This is a great organization and a great football coach. And I would hope none of those players put their head down.
Put some heat on him.